Welcome back to all the crackers in the box. Hi, hello, how's everybody doing? Hopefully wonderful. Welcome to Tuesday. I promised I'd be doing more crochet, and I have come through. I've been crocheting like a mad woman on top of my usual stuff. It's been a wonderful crochet day. So let's chat. Alright, so after a weekend of just basically spinning my wheels around and around and not getting anywhere with anything, I've gotten somewhere on 3 projects. Can you believe that? 3 of them? Throughout the day. I change them up so I don't get bored, so I don't get distracted. Do my thing. So, let's start off with during bingo today. I finished one washcloth. This one's a little bit bigger. I stretched to the cotton to go with my wonky donkey, as I'm going to call this one, because the one side is got so many more stitches than the other one. It's not square. And then I decided just to go with a plain granny square. This will be nice and scrubby. Got a good feel to it, good texture, and I did a nice single crochet outline. So that got done. So now I have 3 new ones because I've been having to throw them out because, of course, I don't know, about a year after using them, even though I launder them often and change them daily and dry them out flat, they will still get that bacteria stank. And I hate that smell. It sticks to my hands and I'll like rub my nose or something, or even put my hand past my face or eat something. Oh, it's the most disgusting thing besides like cigarette smoke. I just, no thank you. So, anyways, moving on. I have to start replacing these beautiful flower ones that my mom made. So I gotta start getting some more of the brunette. They're smaller ones. You can get them at Walmart for like just over $2 or so, $2.30. Really small skeins. But my daughters love the bright colors, and I'm gonna have to go get some soon to replace all of those. So I did finish up 2 more rows of my dress. And I went from the sheeple's whirl, 1 3/4 of a whole, almost 2 things of it to get the 2 sides. And now I'm using Hobie's Dahlia split in 2, so it's a lot thinner. But at the same time, it's not that noticeable. So it's going to be on the outside, and it's in the tourmaline color. I'm trying to figure out how to use this one. This one supposedly is like the big classic one. I'll just put that there so it doesn't look at me. It's a peacock. Love the coloring to it. Not so sure I like how it feels on my hand. However, I have to actually cut this. Give myself a good string. There we go. Fold up this beauty. Just show it off one more time because I just love the way the colorway is. And I think this second ball that I'm using to give me that little extra that I need is going to really complement it. And we're just going to continue on with this one. So now, before I run out of the dark gray, I'm going to get at least 2, maybe 3. I'm going to try for 3, but 2 rows for sure on that. And that's one I really like to work on. It's the weirdest thing. Like everyone else talks about how these like chick thick and chunkier yarns are easier to work with, and they have such great time. I find them a little awkward at times. Like, I have been struggling with this cardigan because I want my stitches to be neat. I want them to be uniform. I'm very, very particular, especially about a wearable that my child will be wearing in public. Did I just lose? I did. Oh no. Oh yeah, I got candy over here. Things you can't find on your desk, right? Oh dear, that's, nope, no, it is still there. Oh, thank goodness. This is my most used one. My other one hasn't even seen the love of a string, so it's gonna stay that way as long as possible. Anyways, so we got the Carrie Baby cake, right? It is all acrylic. Let's see what weight it is. It is medium 4, so it is a bit thick. It's really cushy. It's very soft, and I do like the way it runs through my fingers. Oh, yeah, sorry. I put my glue away. Never leave that down where littles can get to it, and they can get on my desk, no problem. Anyways, so I don't know. I find with a larger stitch like this, I find that I get really overwhelmed quite easily, and that just seems a little odd to me because like most people talk about like these thicker, bulky weights, and they have a great time with them, and I kind of, the brunette blanket, I really struggled with that one. I've used it about 2 or 3 times now. I have wonderful big crochet hooks, but I just don't gravitate to that so much. I love these cakes. These smaller cakes really do it for me. I think they're beautiful. I want them all. I haven't seen very many that I don't think are stunning, with or without sparkles, all that kind of good stuff. So I made a bit of a order on Temu today. Only one thing that I really will think would be interesting. Underneath this blanket on my desk, this white fuzzy blanket, I have a work in progress puzzle, and I'm keeping it covered, but now it's overly covered, and I'm just, anytime I think I want to do it, it's a real pain in the butt to me to clean everything off and find a place to put it. Like, I've got glue, I got scissors, I got tape, I got one of these bad boys sitting up here just because. Ooh. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that open for now, because it definitely makes a lot of noise when you close them. It doesn't have any staples in it. It shouldn't anyways. Got this big staple gun for fixing upholstery, right? I'm sure it's empty. I've got all the staples separate. I'm sure that's something I definitely would have done. But I've got all sorts of random stuff sitting here for when I'm crafting. I've got diamond art stuff all over. I've got diamond arts that I haven't put away yet. I've got, also because I just kind of want to look at them here and there. My kitty one looks spectacular in the hall bathroom. I am so happy. That is the fastest I've ever gone through one, because diamond art is just for fun. It's not a passion. It's just for fun. I'm not too serious about it. I'm not going to go out and buy a ton of extras for it and stuff like that. But a couple of the ones I do have, I am going to be framing. Some of my original art that I got from Temu 3 months ago, are finally almost flat enough to look at hanging up, getting frames for. I'm especially excited for the smoking skeleton. I guess it's a reprint of a Van Gogh, and I'm a big Van Gogh fan, and I had no idea that he had done that. I just saw it and thought, wow, that picture speaks to me. And because it was quirky, it was fun, it was a skeleton. He just reminds me of like a 50s greaser. Little did I know, it's one of my favorite artists. It isn't even got his name on it. So I know in 6th grade, we had the most interesting teacher in 6th grade. I absolutely adore her. She was definitely one of my favorite people, not just as a teacher, but as people. She was just really, really nice, really interesting. She'd play Harry Belafonte for us in class during art class, or while we were writing, just to inspire us, and all the other classes had to hear it. It was just always great. I love me some Harry Belafonte, so that was always fun. She did a lot of music, a lot of art, and there was the Starry Night song. She played it for us while we did a charcoal and pastel reproduction of Starry Night. She kept mine. She kept a lot of my art. She was just really sweet to me. But I fell in love with that painting in particular. And our local art gallery was doing a Van Gogh inspired exhibit. And I was one of those kids that read a lot. So that was the year that they kept taking me to the teacher's aid room and letting me choose whatever book I wanted for my mini book reports, because the way it works with me, and it's the same with my kids, so I don't know how to approach this with a teacher because it really did work for me, but I did about 4 or 5 book reports in the time they did one, and I would get way less marks for mine, which was totally fine with me. It would just kept me busy. So while they're all discussing stuff about this book that I read 2 or 3 times before they noticed that, this kid is like really bored. And I wasn't trying to be a distraction or anything, but it was just, she knew that I was not getting stimulated and I wasn't feeling very passionate about school anymore because it was just really redundant and I felt very, very bored. Like, give me something to sink my teeth in. So I ended up reading a bunch of books that other kids didn't read. Like, one of my all-time favorites that I read was Banner in the Sky. That was a really good book. If I remember correctly, because I read it in 6th grade, the main protagonist, climbed a mountain in the Swiss Alps alone. He was like maybe 14 or 15, maybe 17, and I wanted to put his banner in the sky. It was a really well done book. It was very, very immersive, very, very, very good. But anyways, so because I was the bored kid and always getting everything done before everybody else and then kind of sitting there twiddling my thumbs, she requested that I read these great big books and then teach the class about Van Gogh. Oh, yeah, sure, I was smart, but I was super not good with public speaking yet. I really was not that person. So, I mean, I can do it now. I can talk in public. I can talk to strangers. I can talk all day if I need to. But at that point, I was just not okay with it. But I pushed myself, because that's how I am. I learned about Van Gogh, and then at the art gallery, I stood in front of a wall and in front of all these beautiful paintings and taught the class about Van Gogh. But I did not know that he had made money sketching bodies at the morgue. I really wish I had known that. That's pretty darn cool, if you ask me. I do remember that one kid in particular definitely took offense to the word pristine when I was talking about why art is presented on pristine white walls. He thought I was making up words. My husband does that too sometimes, thinks I'm making up words. It's really fun. But yes, I really enjoy Van Gogh. Yeah, I really enjoy that painting, and I'm super excited that it is almost flat enough to look at getting a frame for it. The last frame cost way more than I would have liked, and it got to me with the corners cracked off. So I would just gonna stick to the cheapo ones at the dollar store, because that is, if it cracks off or whatever, I'm not gonna get mad. But $17 for a frame to have it not even make it home without the sides breaking off is not secure enough for me or my art. Because, yeah, I take that pretty seriously. What I want to do with my diamond art, because most of them are Halloween based, is I want to start a spot where I change them out. Maybe we'll have some Chucky for a month, or some of this, or some of that, or the witches, or the cats with the like. I have a few things that I don't like to take down. My mom's kind of thinking I'm losing my mind, but I left up this giant cross stitch she did years ago of the nativity scene, and I left it on the foyer of the stairs to my son's room. Him and I have this long standing conversation about Jesus and how Jesus loves him. So this year for his birthday, I found online this corner piece, and I guess it's also a cross stitch and a few other things, but Jesus is always watching you. He always knows what you're doing. This sticks to the corner of a doorway, and it says, "I saw that. He's looking at you, and he's judging you." So I had to get that for my son. I think that is super, super funny in a great, wholesome way, and he really enjoys it too. His dad thinks we're weird. He didn't want to get it, and I was like, okay, well, I know for a fact that this is something your son will actually really enjoy. And no, in no way it is not, in a way to disparage Jesus. It's actually to celebrate a lot of the stuff he's learned over the years about religion and that kind of stuff. He has no problem with it. And he has his darker side and he has his lighter side, and he kind of like me, where some of the house is very, very traditional, very religious, and other parts are just the complete opposite, because that is how my life is. That is how my mind is, and that's how it goes. Like this little corner here is my crafting corner, but over there is my reading corner, and over there is this. Because I want to enjoy my time. I'll read a book, which I just started one. Okay, so I use Libby through the library, and I get to download audiobooks and ebooks. So I just finished How to Sell a Haunted House. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'll put it that way. I listened to the whole thing because somebody was waiting for it. It tells you when somebody has put a request for it next. So at the same time, right near the end, a couple others caught my eye as being new releases, and I was like, oh, I wanted to read that for a while. One in particular, these are all by the same author. I seem to gravitate to an author and read quite a few of their books at a time, which is not unusual for me, as I just get into their style, and I'm like, okay, well, let's keep going. So the person that I'm reading now wrote a book called My Best Friend's Exorcism. I believe that's what it's called. And there's a movie of the same name on Amazon Prime. So I'm going to read the book, and then I'm going to watch the movie. My husband watched part of it, and I'm pretty sure it's the same story. So that's pretty cool. I love doing that. I love reading a book and then watching the movie. I do I take the changes with a grain of salt. It's the same thing with like the superheroes. I love my comic books. I am a comic book girl. And quite often movies do not stand up to them. And I just kind of smile. Hey, at least people are knowing about the character. And if they are interested, they will go out of their way to find out more. So that's super cool because some of the characters are just amazingly full of depth and wonder and real emotion. Wow, I can't even, some of the storylines have just been mind-boggling. Just not even for like the science fiction of it, it's more the emotionality and the human side of things that you're not expecting, especially for like mutant stuff. Like the X-Men is excellent for that, and that was always one of my favorites. Anyway, so Best Friend's Exorcism. And then another one that had just came out, something about the Southern Vampire or something or other. Same author. I think it's part of a new series. 4 people as of 20 minutes. like right before I started recording. 4 people are waiting for that book. And I have one ahead of it that I just started. So, you have to do some heavy-duty reading, I guess. Anyways. Thanks for joining me here at All the Crackers in the Box. Back to my crazy crochet. No more of these lazy daisy days where I'm not doing anything because it's time to get into gear. Christmas is coming. Things need to be finished. This will fit a toddler. That's all I've got left of this part. But I got this whole bad boy right here, so I got this. Anyways, thanks for joining here at All the Crackers in the Box, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.